When was the last time you had human contact? And I'm not talking about sex, necessarily. I'm talking about human touch, such as a hug from your grandparents, or a smile from your neighbor, or a kiss from your child. Scientists claim that there are 3 basic needs in order to survive. We need oxygen, food, and water. And I want to suggest a 4th one, which is touch. And I will tell you a personal story how touch became so important to me. I have 5 children. My first are twin boys. During their delivery, there were certain complications. And Rotem, who is my second one, was born without a pulse. He was undergo resuscitation and immediately moved to the neonatal intensive care unit. It all happened very fast. I didn't have time to see him, not to mention hold him. Only after 36 hours, we finally met. I vividly remember entering the department, approaching the incubator, and there he was, so tiny and fragile. I wanted so much to touch him. So the nurse took him gently and put him in my arms. I remember looking at him, and he felt uncomfortable. His eyes were full of fear. His heart rate was fast, his breathing was shallow, and he looked restless. And it took a few moments until he started to relax, his heart rate decreased, and he felt much more calm. And I was trying to think, what just happened in the last moments? And then it occurred to me that the last 36 hours, he endured a battery of tests, examination, pink prick needles. He was handled, but not even one time he had a loving touch. I felt that it was not only my presence, but also my touch that created the change. And only 48 hours later, we got the permission to go home. So I felt it then as a mom, and I know it today as a physician. Touch can heal. So I became a pediatrician, and my specialty is premature babies. I'm the director of the neonatal department in one of the leading hospitals in our country and the biggest in the Middle East. And it's a beautiful profession. I mean, we create life. We bring 1-pound baby to grow into a 100-pound person. It's really amazing. Prematurity is a baby that's born before 37 weeks or before 8 months of pregnancy. And we treat extremely small babies, even less than 1 pound. They are extremely vulnerable. All the vital organs are not developed, especially their lung. And we give oxygen through mechanical ventilation. We give food and water through IV lines. And we succeeded to decrease mortality in the last decade. However, we still have many complications, especially neurodevelopmental ones. And we try to improve our outcome. And I always say that when we try to improve something in the future, we have to go back to our past, to go back to our basics. And what are our basics? Our basics is what I call the 3 C's. It's contact, connection, and compassion. And I will elaborate. I remember one day walking in the department, I saw a mom sitting near the incubator, and she just had twin girls, 33 weeks, 2 pounds each, and she was sitting very distant from the incubator. And I approached her and I asked her, why aren't you touching your girls? Why don't you have skin-to-skin contact with them? And she said, I don't know, they're so small, and all these pipes and the tubes out of them, and I'm afraid that if I touch them, I will get connected, and they might not survive. I told her, your touch can help them survive. Just recently, there was a publication from Harvard University claiming that a skin-to-skin care for low birth weight reduced mortality in 36%. That's not a small number. What happened medically when we touch? When we are big touch, there is a release of oxytocin. It's a hormone, we call it the bonding hormone. When oxytocin is released, cortisol level decrease, heart rate decrease, and we feel much more trust and secure. When being touched, we feel less pain and less stress. For the mom, skin-to-skin care enhances her breast milk production. And when preterm are being touched, it improves their weight gain. And I think it's the only time in our life we are very happy in gaining weight. So she listened carefully, and she started to touch her girls and to have skin-to-skin contact with them. And they are 5 years old now, and beautiful girls. But contact is not only physical. We need to create connection. We need our second C. And there is a joke about our profession that we are like veterinary medicine. Both of us do not really speak with the patients. And that's true, we don't really communicate with the babies and with the children, but we do have our parents. And the parents are our patients as well. Parents are overwhelmed of the situation they are in. Suddenly they have a baby before time, they didn't plan it. They spend weeks and months in our department, and sometimes in life-threatening situations. And they are in extreme anxiety and stress. And we need to treat them and to help them, because lowering their anxiety helps the outcome of their baby. I remember talking to parents few hours after the delivery of their child, and I explained to them about health issues and what to expect in the next few days, and they listened quietly and nodded with their head. 2 days later, during morning round, I saw them again, and I asked the mom if everything is okay, do you have any questions? She looked at me and she says, I don't know, nobody explained anything up till now. And I was in shock. I was thinking in my head, what does she mean nobody explained? It was me. I explained everything 2 days ago. And then I realized that she was right. I didn't explain it properly. I didn't create the connection. I'm sure each one of you was at least one time in the physician office. And it's always the same. We enter to the doctor, we explain about our symptoms, explain what kind of medication we need to take in a perfect monologue. And then when he asks if we have any questions, we get into this mental freeze. We just nod with our head and we go out. And 5 minutes after we go out from the clinic, we remember we forgot to ask so many questions about side effects. And actually, with 50% of what he said, we forgot. So we as physicians need to explain things properly. We need to create the connection and to give our full attention. So we decided to change things in our department, to have a new approach. For example, we don't speak with the parents near the incubator or while handling the baby. We take them to a quiet room. We listen to their concerns. We give them our full attention. And at the end, we added a question. What did you understand from all that? We also wanted to continue the contact even when they are not in the department. So we text them an SMS update. Every morning at 9 o'clock, they get an SMS regarding their child. For example, your child is in room 6, his last weight is 1.7 pounds, he finished all the battles and we need more breast milk. And the results were amazing. Parents felt much more reassured, more confident. They felt that we are available. They had less anxiety and stress. And actually, they felt that we care. We created contact and connection, and they felt our compassion. We have the Levin family. They come every year to celebrate Daniel's birthday with us. Daniel was a 24-week preterm, extremely small, had many, many complications. The parents spent months in our department. And every year they come. Mr. Levin tells me, you know, Dr. Strauss, I want to tell you, from the whole time we were here, the main thing I remember is the day Daniel was born. I remember you and the team rushing out from the delivery room. Daniel was the incubator. I joined you towards the department, and suddenly you stopped. you looked at me with a smile and you told me, congratulations. And at that moment, I understood that I am a father. For better or worse, I am a father, and it gave me hope. So words created connection. Unfortunately, not all our preterms survive. And sometimes, during the last day or moment, parents tend to disconnect. We had one situation when a baby, after extremely difficult delivery, did not survive and died after 4 days. I remember the parents, Sharon and her husband, were not in the department in the last day, and I went outside to talk to them. And I asked Sharon, please, why don't you come and say goodbye to your child? And she said, I cannot, it's too painful. And I told her, I know it's the most difficult situation I'm asking you to be in, but it's extremely important that you come and say goodbye to him. And in the end, she did. And she came, and we let her hold her baby, and she sat there for a few moments, saying goodbye to him. 2 years later, I got a call from the maternity ward. Someone wanted to see me. So I came there, and suddenly I saw Sharon. And she just had a new baby. And it was very emotional for both of us. And she hugged me, and she said, I want to thank you all for insisting that I will say goodbye to my child 2 years ago, because only like that I could close that door and continue on with my life. And now I have a perfect, healthy child. Touch can heal. And we create contact, and it's from a mother to her child, from a physician to a patient, from one person to another. Our department is like a microcosmos of the universe. And we encounter great joy from bringing new life. We encounter grief and sorrow from occasional death. We have sadness and happiness, pain and joy combined together. And I know every day that I will have to confront these mixed feelings. And I cannot do that without compassion. In our overwhelmed, hectic world, where technology replaced everything, it replaced even essentials such as oxygen, food, and water. It cannot and will not replace compassion. And we need compassion in this world. Aren't they beautiful, these children? We all feel compassion for babies. We all want to hug and kiss them. But somewhere along our life course, we forgot this feeling. And we need to go back to this feeling of compassion for children. We need to go back to our basics. We need to go back to the contact, connection, and compassion. And we need to start with contact. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you have to touch every person now you see in the subway. Contact means a tap on your shoulder friend, a high five to your colleague, looking up from our computer and laptop and cell phone, and creating eye contact and smile. So we create contact and connection. It will inevitably, we will have compassion. So we can start today, right here, right now. Ask yourself every day, did I have any connection with others? Was I present? Did I give my full attention to my mom, my friend, my child? Because remember, your touch and smile can create all the difference to them. Thank you.